The market doesn't reward the best product, it rewards the best positioning. That might sound controversial, but today we're exploring how some of the biggest names in business built their fortunes not by being the best, but by becoming the recognized authority before anyone else caught on.
That's such a thought provoking way to look at it. And honestly, it challenges everything we've been taught about success being purely merit based.
Let's look at some fascinating examples. Take Gary Vaynerchuk. He didn't revolutionize wine selling, but he understood something crucial about attention and authority that transformed his family's wine business from $3 million to $60 million in revenue.
That's a remarkable transformation. What exactly did he do differently?
He turned personality and content into leverage. Instead of just selling wine, he created Wine Library TV, showed up consistently, and built what we now call a personal brand. The wine was almost secondary to the trust he built with his audience.
So he wasn't necessarily selling better wine than his competitors. He was selling certainty and trust through his authority.
Exactly. And here's what's fascinating. This pattern repeats with other successful entrepreneurs. Look at Marie Forleo and her B School program. Online business courses weren't rare when she launched, but she owned the emotional positioning.
The way she combined being warm but direct, motivational but practical, that's really hard to replicate, isn't it?
And that's exactly what made her stand out. She didn't just create a course, she created an ecosystem of authority through her show, podcast, programs, and books. The whole package worked together to build trust.
You know what's interesting about these examples? They're showing us that authority isn't just about fame, it's about creating perceived certainty at scale.
Let's talk about Dave Ramsey. Now, this is where it gets really controversial. His financial advice isn't always the most sophisticated, and plenty of experts criticize his approach as too simplistic.
But he's built this massive media empire with millions of listeners and followers. How do you explain that disconnect?
He won because he had the clearest plan, not the most sophisticated one. He took complex financial concepts and made them accessible to everyday people. Clarity repeated long enough becomes credibility.
That's fascinating. So sometimes simplifying the message can be more powerful than having the most nuanced approach?
Exactly. And look at Grant Cardone. Love him or hate him, you can't ignore his impact. He built a brand around aggressive visibility through constant exposure, strong slogans, and high volume content.
It seems like there's this common thread among all these success stories. They didn't wait to be discovered, they made themselves impossible to ignore.
And here's what's really interesting about their approach: they all share this same playbook. They turn content into distribution, choose a repeatable message, and make trust feel simple.
That's so different from how most experts operate, waiting until everything's perfect before putting themselves out there.
And that's the gap where fortunes get made between hesitation and expression. While most experts are asking if they're qualified enough, these authorities are asking how they can teach more clearly.
So, what you're saying is that in many industries, the best product actually loses to the best known name.
That's exactly it. Not always forever, but often long enough to build significant wealth. And here's what makes this conversation uncomfortable for many people: it exposes how many of us are emotionally attached to staying invisible.
Hmm, that's a powerful observation. We often dress up that fear of visibility as humility or perfectionism, don't we?
And that's the real challenge for professionals today: understanding that competence is just table stakes. The real work starts with building authority and making yourself visible.
So, what's the practical takeaway for someone who wants to build authority in their market?
It comes down to three key actions: build proof in public, become identifiable, and communicate transformation rather than features. You don't need to be the best in the world. You need to be the clearest in your market.
That really shifts the focus from perfecting your craft in isolation to sharing your expertise publicly.
And here's what makes this so crucial right now. In today's digital age, attention is increasingly scarce and valuable. If you have something valuable to offer, you have a responsibility to make sure people can find it.
That's such an interesting way to frame it. Building authority becomes almost an ethical imperative rather than just a marketing strategy.
Looking at the bigger picture, this isn't just about individual success. It's about how value gets distributed in modern markets. The best ideas don't win by default, they win through visibility and trust.
So the real question isn't whether to play this game, but how to play it in a way that creates genuine value.
Exactly. And that might be the most important insight of all. Authority isn't just about being known, it's about being known for something specific and valuable. It's about making it easier for people to find and trust the solutions they need.